everyone, this is my new training video with Vingino. Please remember that we are still training and developing the canter, so not everything will be perfect in this video. To me, the video's purpose is to see and evaluate our progress, and hopefully it can be a source of inspiration for your own training. This clip shows our basic canter. In other words, letting Vingino canter as he likes to canter, and without any of my aids and help. As you can see in this basic canter, Vingino keeps his head high and is dropping his back. He is making short jumps and he steps short with his outside hind leg. Moreover, his hind legs are more pushing than carrying. Overall, the lifting of the canter doesn't come from behind, but it comes from throwing his shoulders back. With every video there are two pictures. The first picture is always the one where his hind legs are the most forward. This is where he just made the jump. The second picture is always the one where he is the most stretched out. This is just before he starts a new canter jump. I've drawn the upper line of Vingino, and the blue line is more or less where our point of weight is. As we saw in the video, his head is high and thus I'm losing contact on the reins. He's trying to lift his shoulders, but it doesn't come from behind. His left hind leg is doing a good job reaching the point of weight, but as we saw in the video, his right hind leg steps short and is strongly pushing. Finally, there's almost no bending in his hips and knees. So this is the photo just before he starts another jump. Here you can see the same things. His head is high and he is dropping his back. His left front leg is trying to stretch, but it didn't get enough lift or support from behind to make that happen. So he is pushing his head up from his front leg rather than lifting the chest from behind. Nonetheless, his front legs are not passing the point of weight. As he goes into his canter, you can clearly see that he creates the lift of the canter jump with his shoulders instead of his hind legs. Therefore he's dropping his back and raising his head. In this video I laid down the whip on top of his hind quarter to encourage him to bend his hips and knees. His outside hind leg is still stepping short and pushing, and his head is still too high. However, thanks to the support of the whip, he remembers to bend his hips and knees, thus having less of a hollow back. As you can see, the contact on the reins is better, but still not perfect. Even though his head is still a bit too high, he has less of a hollow back. Again, his left hind leg is doing a good job reaching the point of weight, but his right hind leg is stepping short and pushing. Nonetheless, thanks to the whip aid, his hind legs are doing a better job in lifting his shoulders. Again, a photo just before he starts another jump. His left front leg is stretching out again, and even though it is stretching further than before, it still didn't get enough lift or support from behind to really get shoulder freedom. So he's dropping his chest, but not as much as before, and his front legs are pushing even less backwards than before. In this video, I again laid down the whip on top of his hind quarter to encourage him to bend his hips and knees more, but I also encouraged him to go more forward, thinking of cantering forward upwards, like cantering up a hill in the forest. As you can see, his head is much lower and he's reaching forward down towards my hand. He's making bigger canter jumps and he's really stretching forward with his hind legs. Overall, the canter looks a lot smoother. As we saw in the video, he's stretching forward down towards my hand. He's cantering over the back and he's getting a better horizontal balance. Even in this picture, where he is as much stretched out as possible before he starts another jump, you can see the improvement is huge. He's stretching forward down and you can even start to see some neck muscles. His left front leg received a much better lift from behind, and as a result it is stretching even further out. The bending in his hips and knees is better than before, and for the first time his carrying hind leg is more active than his pushing hind leg. Finally, the horizontal balance is much better than before. This is the first video to the right, so I'm not encouraging him yet to anything, and still you can immediately see the difference in the first video on the left and this video. As you can see, he finds cantering to the right a lot easier than cantering to the left. His head is much lower, his jumps are bigger, and his back is less hollow than in the first video to the left. Nevertheless, he's still not bending enough in his hips and knees, and he's still stepping short with his outside hind leg. Even though his head is in an okay position, I'm still losing contact on the reins. His inside hind leg is really stepping forward, even more so than the inside hind leg on the left side. He's cantering over the back, and he already has a better horizontal balance than on the left. Even in this picture, where he is as much stretched out as possible before he starts another jump, you can see the big difference between the second photo on the left side and this one. You can see his hind legs gave better lift to his shoulders already, since his right front leg is already stretching that much forward. Nevertheless, he is still falling too much on his shoulders. So also on this side I combined the whip aid with the forward upward thinking, and this video is the result. Since this is his easiest sides, the difference between not using and using these aids are not as big as on the left. However, you can see his upper line roundness is even better than in the video before. The contact is better, and overall the canter looks a lot smoother again. Since in this picture his posture is about as good as it can get for now, I would like to use this picture to talk about my own posture. As you can see, in contrast to Vingino, I find cantering to the right a lot harder than cantering to the left. I have a tendency to pull my knees up and turn my lower leg inwards. Since my posture has a big effect on Vingino's carriage, I find it even more fascinating that his canter is so much better on this side. It can only mean that as soon as I improve my own posture, his will get even better. In this picture my posture is already a lot better. Moreover, even though his outside front leg is falling a bit backwards, this is also Vingino's best posture in his most stretched out moment in the canter. This confirms that if I improve my posture, Vingino's will as well. Here you have the worst and the best photos on each side one more time, so you can really see the difference between the left and the right, and no aids and whip and forward thinking aids. I hope you find this video informative about our canter training and maybe even instructive for your own canter training. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment.